Perfect weather in America's finest city today. It touched 77 degrees. There might not be 1 degree of separation between these two teams here tonight. Utah State and San Diego State, first and second in the Mountain West Conference standings. As we take a look at the picture right now, there's 1 and 2. They both play New Mexico before the regular season wraps up. Last year, 4 teams from the Mountain West made the NCAA tournament. It's going to be tough to do this year, which makes this game even that much more important. Welcome inside Viejas Arena in San Diego alongside Casey Jacobson. I'm Dan Helly, and you know what they say in February and March? College basketball cream rises to the top. That's what's happened with these two teams. Certainly some bumps in the road along the way, but NCAA tournament aspirations, a critical matchup for both of these squads.
Yeah, I know that each of the Mountain West teams still have 4 regular season games to go, but this is the most important one because it might decide the title. Utah State knows it. They know that the title runs through Viejas Arena pretty much every year, and San Diego State needs to defend their home court tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineups. MJ Collins, the leading scorer for Utah State. Mason Falsled could be the Conference Player of the Year. Reese Dixon-Waters paces things for the Aztecs. He's going to be getting some help from Magoon Quav, who is starting for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, he's missed 6 games last month due to a hip flexor injury. He's played the last 3, but now he's dealing with some knee soreness. So, folks, let's keep an eye on if he's healthy. And then on the other side, MJ Collins, he's the senior transfer from Vanderbilt, who never had averaged double figures in his college career before he transfers here. He's found a nice home, 18 points a game.
Wanted the opportunity for a bigger role, and he certainly got that in Logan with the Aggies. San Diego State wins the tip. And LZ Harrington getting the start at point guard. Back in the starting lineup, turns it over right away. That's one thing that the Aggies do very well. Here's Collins for 3 off the mark.
Dan, you can already tell Utah State, their aggressiveness on defense. They are handsy. They will slide with you with their feet, but don't mess around with the basketball. It'll be gone.
Yeah, these two guards will pick your pocket. Falsled, pump fake it inside, it's blocked.
That's my favorite matchup. As Drake Allen misses a 3. Dan, this matchup between Falsled and Miles Bird, keep your eye on that one.
Bird inside to Guap, who's fouled by Allen. Allen a little bit too handsy on that one as he was trying to knock the ball away. Jared Calhoun in his 2nd year at Utah State, following a long line of successful coaches there. Danny Sprinkle at Washington, Ryan Odom, Craig Smith have all moved on to bigger places. Perhaps that could be in the cards down the road for Calhoun, but he's just trying to get back to the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, they finished 3rd in the Mountain West last season, made the NCAA tournament, got a 10 seed, which I thought was not what they deserved. They lost to UCLA.
In and out by Dixon-Waters. Utah State loves to push the pace. Able to hold on to the ball. Nice play there of Adlan El-Amin to keep the ball in bounds.
Man, somebody check that basketball for some oil or something. The ball's all over the place.
A little slippery here in the early moments of the game. Allen driving, and the rebound corralled by Miles Heide.
Partner, it's pretty clear that points are going to be at a premium in this one. I mean, there's just not a lot of room for error offensively because these defenses, they don't give it to you.
Dixon-Waters off the mark again. Welcome to those that have just joined us on FS1. Miles Heide with the putback. Dan Helly alongside Casey Jacobson. It is a raucous atmosphere at Viejas Arena. The #1 and #2 teams in the Mountain West Conference going head-to-head. Utah State won the game earlier this season at home, despite turning the ball over 18 times, due in part to absolutely dominating the boards in that one. And the 3-pointer is good from Adlan El-Amin.
So for the first 2 minutes, nothing happened except for a few turnovers and a few wrestling matches underneath the basket. These are two of the better defensive teams in the Mountain West Conference. Points are going to be at a premium. If you haven't watched Utah State play defensively, sometimes their defense looks like a zone, but it is an aggressive, switching man-to-man.
Mason Falsev called for the foul, so a foul on each of the guards for Utah State as we look at Brian Dutcher's 9th season here at San Diego State, and what a run it has been in terms of winning percentage, the winningest coach in conference history.
I mean, 9th season as a head coach, but his 27th season here at San Diego State. Of course, assistant coach with Steve Fisher all those years.
Pretty pass inside, and then the finish by Reese Dixon Waters.
But Dixon Waters is a guard, but he's a physical one. Number 39 in white, 6th-year senior.
Three-pointer goes for MJ Collins, one of the better three-point shooters on this Utah State team, as you might expect from their leading scorer, averaging nearly 18 points per game. That's 3rd best in the conference.
This Utah State team offensively high-powered, but they are led by their 2 dynamic duo guys, number 12 Mason Falsev and MJ Collins. Both are capable of taking over a game and dropping 20 to 25 on you.
As Harrington on the drive, it's blocked by Elamine. Here come the Aggies. Elamine with a triple again, got it.
Well, what's interesting about this is Adlong Elamine, a freshman, was scoreless last game at Nevada. 0 for 4 from the field in 25 minutes. A brilliant start, and here he gets a rebound, and he's going to push the break. Look at this young man.
Loses the handle for a moment, gets it up top. And that three-pointer off the mark for Zach Keller. Utah State coming off 15 made threes against Nevada. And Collins Jr. called for the foul. Utah State firing away from deep here early.
In conference play, the Aggies lead the entire conference in scoring at 83 points a game. Elamine, the freshman, leading them so far.
Last time these two squads met in this building, it went down to the wire. Tucker Anderson hitting the three-pointer to put the Utes on top. One last gasp attempt, no good. And Utah State wins it. They have won 3 straight against San Diego State. Again, a look at the standings here. Utah State, San Diego State, number 1 and 2 in the Mountain West Conference. This is for a share of first place for San Diego State as we take a look at Tucker Anderson, and then the throwdown and the answer out of the timeout by San Diego State.
That's Tay Simmons, another freshman. You're going to see a lot of freshmen. We already saw Elamine for Utah State. Tay Simmons also a freshman for San Diego State. It's hard to get minutes at this time of year for Brian Dutcher. San Diego State always has old teams.
Pass. Dropping it off, and then the throwdown. Carson Templin, who's coming off a yeoman's effort in the last game against Nevada from the free throw line. Man, is he just scrappy down low, drawing all kinds of fouls, but that time he just threw it down.
Yeah, Templin, one of the better 6 men in the entire West Coast Conference.
High off the backboard, and then in for Simmons. Tay Simmons, the freshman from Simi Valley, California, has been fantastic so far.
Yeah, keep your eye on number 8 in white right there. Gets past Elamine, and then Templin just doesn't know where the ball is. There's no help, right? And watch this, man. How much more fun would basketball be if you could jump as high as Tay Simmons? And then here, again, do you see how Templin went to block the shot? He had no chance of blocking that shot, and it's a big mistake because he took himself out of the offensive rebounding.
Reese Waters grabs the rebound, fighting for it again. Utah State comes up with it.
Rebounds is going to be crucial. It always is in any matchup, but in the first matchup in Logan, Utah, the Aggies dominated the Aztecs on the glass. They out-rebounded them by 15. Wow.
There's Elamine again, who has been on fire. They also dominated them in the paint, plus 18 in terms of points in the paint, but the majority of their buckets so far here tonight coming from three-point range.
So I mentioned Elamine was scoreless in Utah State's last game, but he likes playing against San Diego State. He had 13 points and 8 rebounds in the first matchup.
Davis down low with a nice pass to the freshman, in and out. And then he's going to foul on the rebound attempt.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, he's like, my bad. He probably should have dunked it. He's so athletic, he could just turn it and smash it. But Tay Simmons has given San Diego State a ton of energy off the bench. This is one of the best benches as far as point production in the country. San Diego State, their bench is 3rd in the nation, 36 points a game. And part of it is because of the development of Tay Simmons. And then number 10 in white guarding the basketball right now, B.J. Davis.
B.J. Davis was starting at point guard the last few games, and he's been replaced by LZ Harrington, who's finally healthy once again. But they really like B.J. Davis in that off-guard position where he can hunt for those shots instead of having to facilitate the offense. He really excels in that off-guard spot.
Yeah, we were talking to Brian Dutcher about it. LZ Harrington's the freshman, and he's the point guard of the future, you could say, for the Aztecs. But B.J. Davis is a scorer, and he was kind of just asked to run the offense. And yeah, if he can return to his double-digit scoring ways, that'll be really helpful.
Obi King caught among the trees, gets it out to Falslev, fakes the pass. And then Davis comes up with a loose ball. Bumped on the way up. It's going to be Elijah Perriman, the freshman from San Francisco, called for the foul.
And Taj DeGorville, another underclassman. He's just a sophomore. He was basically the only freshman last year to play in every game for Brian Dutcher's team. This San Diego State team, Dan, if they can retain their players like into next season, will be one of the older teams in the country with a lot of continuity. Again, Miles Bird, he's a junior. Reese Dixon Waters is a senior. B.J. Davis can come back. Taj DeGorville, Pharaoh Compton, Tay Simmons, like all these guys can return.
Well, and that's one thing he did a really good job of last year, was retaining players. 8 players came back. In terms of minutes continuity, it was top 10 in the country. Templin from the top of the key, too strong. Falslev gets his shot. Blocked. And then Pharaoh Compton with the Euro step for the U. 2-point ball game.
The dexterity of the big man, Pharaoh Compton, who shoots over 70% from the field because he just attacks the rim with his length, usually dunks.
Falslev inside. They're going to call a holding foul on Tay Simmons. That's 2 on the freshman.
If you want to play for Brian Dutcher, defend and then run the floor. He'll give you some more freedom in the open floor if you can block shots. Pharaoh's a ton of fun to watch, averaging 8 points a game off the bench. He's wearing the mask right now. Pharaoh is not like a post guy that they're going to run a lot of one-on-one post touches for. He's an excellent offensive rebounder, and he's devastating in transition.
They're mixing it up a little bit. Templin was called for the offensive foul down low. He had the mismatch on B.J. Davis.
Templin is one of the emotional leaders of this Aggie team. And look, I'm kind of on Carson Templin's side on this one. It's kind of annoying when you have the ball. He wasn't doing anything. He was just chilling, and the opponents come in and try to rip it out of your hands.
Well, they were just asking for the ball. They're like, it's our ball, bro.
Well, again, watch Utah State. They're going to trap as many ball screens as they can, but watch how active their hands are. They're top 20 in the country in steals per game, folks. Just like that. I mean, how many deflections? If you want to count them at home, get out a long piece of paper, because the Aggies they will stick their hands in the cookie jars. It's so much fun. I'm an offensive guy, Dan, okay, but I appreciate the defense of these two teams. It's going to be a fun one tonight.
Welcome back. Utah State up by 2 over San Diego State here in San Diego. Jared Calhoun following in the footsteps of some pretty good coaches here at Utah State. Danny Sprinkle, Ryan Odom, Craig Smith. 4 coaches since 2019. All have moved on to bigger and better things, due in part to coaching defense, Casey.
Yeah, the Aztecs offensively, they have to try and figure out how to navigate this difficult switching man-to-man defensive style. Folks, it'll look like they're in a zone, but they point and they talk. They average 9 steals a game, which ranks 18th in the country. They have 2 of the better thieves in the Mountain West, Drake Allen and Mason Falslev. And it's more than that, though. They just play with a consistent, like, high temperature.
Tough drive for Elijah Perriman. And they're really working the officials. They thought Perriman got fouled on that.
You see how they're switching everything, and if you move the ball just like that, Dan, if you move the ball side to side, passing lanes will open up. That's a good sign for Magoon Guath. Dealing with some knee tenderness and a hip flexor issue.
Missed 6 games earlier this year. And a foul called on Washington, or on Utah State, rather.
If you're going to switch, you better point and talk early. This time, 2 guys go to the ball. That was Mason Falslev and Carson Templin, both standing on the perimeter. Magoon Guath with the ghost screen, meaning he pretends like he's going to screen it, then immediately gets out of it. And more of that for the Aztecs, I believe, will be successful.
Davis driving and hitting. All 15 of San Diego State's points have been in the paint or from the free throw line. Air ball for Utah State. Elamine, who has 2 threes, didn't hit anything there. Deep three-pointer for DeGorville, off the mark. And here come the Aggies once again.
So San Diego State is 0 for 4 from 3. They are one of the worst three-point shooting. Nice pass.
Farrell Compton wide open down low.
Hey, one of the better ways to beat this switching offense by Utah State is to beat it down the floor. Get the ball to the middle. That's exactly what DeGorville does. And I don't know how you can possibly leave Farrell Compton. That's what he does. He finishes around the basket. He dunks the ball with regularity. 75% shooter in the conference. That's incredible. He doesn't qualify to like actually lead the conference in field goal percentage, but if he did, he'd be number 1.
Hasn't taken enough attempts.
Yeah.
An elite finisher is Compton. Has a 7'3" wingspan.
And speaking of wingspans, right here guarding the basketball, Miles Bird. We'll get into that. Oh, he almost had that one.
Move. Falslev. Spinderella in the lane to tie things up at 17. Here's Compton again.
Well, they have no answer for Farrell Compton, whether it be in transition, losing him around the rim. That time, a drive from about 15 feet. Farrell has come to play in this one. Yeah, travel.
Elamine called for the travel.
Well, Mason Falslev averaging 16 points a game. He's super clever because Mason Falslev knows he's not the best athlete on this floor, but he's got an array of shots, and Miles Bird goes into the first row trying to block that one. It is my matchup I'm watching. Miles Bird, whose arms are tremendously long, an incredible and active defender, and it's his job to try to slow down Mason Falslev, who's one of the better players, not just in this conference, in the country. I think that if the season ended today, Mason Falslev would be your Mountain West Player of the Year.
Mason Falslev, 24 years old, went on his mission, red-shirted And he still has another year of eligibility. Harrington step back from the free throw line, in and out.
And we haven't heard much from Drake Allen, who has the ball right now. He is a pass first, pass second point guard. He'll shoot, but only if he's wide open. He finds so much joy in getting his teammates open looks.
Elamine too strong.
Yeah, Elamine hit his first two, and he just keeps gunning. His last two have not really been close. One air ball, and that one hit the backboard first.
DeGorville to a wide open Reese Dixon Waters. An 11-2 run and the largest lead of the game for the Aztecs.
I was mentioning that the three-point shot offensively is not the Aztecs' priority, but the one guy I think that is the most dangerous is Dixon Waters.
Trying to tie up Falslev down low. Foul called on DeGorville.
If you pick up the basketball, this goes for every offensive player on both sides of the ball. If you pick it up without a plan, you are going to have two guys on you, and four hands trying to strip that basketball. You got to make quick decisions in this game.
Falslev with a strong drive, almost gets it to go. He'll shoot two.
Did you see how Miles Bird, a high risk, high reward play? That time he didn't get the reward. He goes for the steal, doesn't get it, and then puts his teammates in peril because now you have Mason Falslev with a full head of steam.
Falslev shooting 75% from the line. Scored 10 points against Nevada in that loss in their last game. Missed his first 6 shots, but made his last 4.
That's what scorers do. He knows that he doesn't have to look over his shoulder. You know, like if he misses a couple of shots, there's no subs coming for Mason Falslev. He's going to play 40 minutes if he's in shape. So again, look at the 1-3-1 setup right here, and then watch how they'll fall back. And now they're just going to go through it, and they're going to point and switch everything. It's really difficult to run your normal man-to-man stuff.
But every now and then somebody gets open, like Dixon Waters.
2 in a row for Reese. His last 7 games, he's starting to click. 16 points, shooting almost 50% in those games.
Dropping it off, and he's fouled on the way up. Up by 6. Aztecs starting to heat up, due in part to Reese Dixon Waters, their leading scorer, with not 1 but 2 threes in the last minute. Saturday, we have a battle in the Big East on Fox Primetime Hoops. Zuby Ejiofor, number 15 St. John's, continue their fight for a conference crown against Villanova. It all starts Saturday at 8 Eastern on Fox.
St. John's struggled, and I'm using struggle as an understatement today against UConn. St. John's lost by 30. St. John's scored 40 points, ladies and gentlemen. That's the fewest of any Rick Pitino coach team of his career. He's been coaching a very long time, and the Johnnies missed their last 24 shots in a row to finish that game.
That is crazy.
It's the worst ending shooting streak in the last 8 years. But the good news for St. John's, they're still tied atop with UConn.
Anderson's three-pointer, no good. Aggies get it back.
Remember Tucker Anderson, number 3 in dark. He was the hero last year in this matchup.
Collins Jr. with the short jumper to make it a 4-point game. Brian Dutcher told us, listen, we're not a great three-point shooting team. If we can get 8 or 9 a game, would be really dangerous. And they have 2 of them here tonight. Both of them coming from that man, Reese Dixon-Waters, and right now that's the difference.
The Aztecs take the fewest three-point shots in the Mountain West Conference per game at 18.8, and they don't shoot it all that well percentage-wise either.
Dixon-Waters working on Anderson. Shot clock winding down, and he's fouled on the shot.
Wow, what a terrible foul by Keller there, because you played great defense for 25 seconds. And watch here. That's just a bad basketball play right there. Just do your job and make Reese Dixon-Waters take a contested mid-range jumper.
First one's good for Dixon-Waters, who missed all of last year with a broken funicular bone in his foot. So he is back for one final season. This is third year at San Diego State after beginning his career at USC.
He was the 2023 Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year at USC. Interestingly, he wore number 2 when he played at USC. Now he wears number 39, and I had to do a little digging. And he grew up in Long Beach, and his street address of his childhood home was 3939. So just a nod to where he grew up.
I like that.
Yeah. Nice pass.
Dixon-Waters again, and 3-9, hitting another 3. He has made 4 threes in his last 4 games combined. Tonight, he has 3.
But watch this pass from Miles Bird in transition. He put enough air under it to get over the defense of MJ Collins there, and it allowed Reese Dixon-Waters also. That air under the pass, watch it, allows him to get his feet set. He actually looked at the line. He looked down at his feet to make sure that he was going to get all 3 of those ones. And Dan Helly, did you know that the corner three-point shot in college basketball is 6 inches closer than it is anywhere else on the arc?
Come on, Casey.
Was
that a rhetorical question?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes
I know we're talking Stanford and Tennessee educations here. I mean, come on.
Well, in the NBA, it's a foot shorter.
Yeah.
In college, it's only 6 inches shorter. But that 6 inches matters a lot in the shooting percentages.
For sure. And Dixon-Waters has it figured out so far, at least tonight. 8-point lead for the Aztecs, their biggest of the game.
This is the best three-point shooting lineup that Utah State has.
Templin just bulldozing his way to the hoop as he is wont to do.
And you see, when you have 5 guys on the floor that can shoot, it really opens up those driving and pick and roll gaps.
So this is the 4 they started the game with, along with B.J. Davis, who fires from the corner, and he's fouled.
Yep, that was the right call. Drake Allen is looking at the foul, at the official saying, no, no, no. But this is an easy one. This is right across from where we're broadcasting this game. And watch here, bottom screen. He goes right into the body, right underneath his feet. That's a dangerous play.
Well, you have to allow the shooter to land. And Drake Allen was in that space. Still having the conversation with Randy Richardson.
Yeah, and he's telling Randy, hey, don't you know that my wife and I just had our first child 2 days ago? Drake Allen's a brand new father.
It's a crazy story. After the Nevada game, they were stuck in Reno and couldn't get home, so they were on a charter flight. Drake, they stayed over the next day. Drake hopped on a plane at 5 a.m., made it there shortly before his wife Hallie gave birth to their first son. That was on the 22nd. And then he met the team here in San Diego yesterday. So it's been a crazy last couple of days for Drake Allen.
Yeah, probably not getting a lot of sleep, too.
I would imagine not. Get used to it, Drake.
Yeah, San Diego State offensively, with the help of Reese Dixon Waters, has opened up a nice lead, but no lead is safe. This is a Utah State offense that can put points on the board in a hurry.
DeGorville called for the foul on Tucker Anderson. And that's 2 on Taj DeGorville.
Anderson is, a quote big, but he wants to shoot from the perimeter. You got to treat him like a guard.
Hasn't gotten a lot of time. Didn't play in 5 of the last 7 games, averaging 3 points in about 12 minutes per game coming into this one.
Yeah, but balled out last year in December. Hit 4 threes, including the game winner. I'm sure like when he walked into the building for shoot around,
he felt it.
He felt it. He's like, oh yeah, I remember this. And no doubt it's why Jared Calhoun inserted him into this game in the first half. He's like, hey, let's see if there's something to do with this building that he likes.
Davis to Harrington. Good ball movement by San Diego State. And DeGorville can't get it to fall.
DeGorville passed up a wide open 3.
King for 3.
Not enough ball movement. I know Jared Calhoun's coaching from the sideline. This Utah State team, they need to move the ball side to side.
0 for their last 7, 0 for 8. Fouls called down low.
This Aggie team, it's what they do. One of their offensive identities is passing the basketball. They rank 16th in the country in assists per game at 18. So far, just 4 assists. A lot of one-on-one basketball going on. And against the Aztecs, that's exactly what they want.
Adlon Elamine checking back in for Tucker Anderson. As Carson Templin is at the line, a 64% free throw shooter coming in.
Oh, they're going to get LZ Harrington, number 3, for a free throw lane violation. Went in too early.
Templin saw it and was calling for it. Templin's gone for double figures in 8 of his last 11 games. Had a career high 20 points against Memphis 3 games ago.
And that was a bonus, Dan. So like he would have missed the front end. Instead, you get a lane violation. He gets the front. And he makes it, and now it's going to be worth 2. And he misses it, of course.
In the corner, it's Davis. Gets the shooter's roll.
You notice that the majority of the three-point shots from the Aztecs are taking place in the corners and the wings. That's the weak spot so far in the Aggie defense.
Alslep stuck in the lane, gets it to Templin, and he's going to the line once again. The three-pointer has not been a strong suit for the Aztecs this year, but they're hitting them tonight, even if they're rolling in. Thank you, Rob. 26-35, San Diego State really started heating up here about midway through the first half, due in part to Reese Dixon Waters. He averages 12 points per game coming in. He has 12 already here tonight.
Yeah, he's really raised his average the last 2.5 weeks or so. 50% from the field in those 2.5 weeks. And he's hunting the three-point arc tonight. And you know, it's not that much of a surprise. I shouldn't say that. He is leading the Aztecs in made threes. Has 42 on the season. but he's also an excellent driver, and he loves mid-range jumpers as well. Reese Dixon-Waters is definitely a 3-level scorer.
Templin finding his way to the line once again. Talk about that free throws in the last game against Nevada. He was 7 of 11. Tonight, 2 for 4. You know, there's a sense of urgency for the Aztecs. They haven't lost 2 in a row in conference play since the end of the 2023 season, and they came into this one having lost 2 in a row. This is a quad 1 win for them if they can get it. Dixon-Waters again!
Utah State having just a hard time running their offense right now. Everything right. I call this umbrella offense, just all on the outside of the three-point arc.
And then a turnover there from Falslev, trying to feed it inside to Zach Keller, and nothing going.
Look at this left-handed whip pass. And then MJ Collins, number 2. Why are you staring at the basketball? You are guarding the hottest player in the gym. You got to have some spatial awareness.
Let's see if they try to get it to Dixon-Waters again. He is smoking hot right now. Davis for 3. Keller snatches down the rebound.
Really nice transition defense there from San Diego State. I thought the Aggies had numbers for about 1 second, and then that door closed quickly.
It's the first drill they started shoot around with. Here's King. Got it. A much needed 3-pointer for the Aggies.
And Colby King can do that. Just last game, Utah State lost at Nevada, but Colby King had 4 triples off the bench. That is his role offensively. Oh, that's bad defense.
What a drive. And fouled on the way in is Pharaoh Compton. He has been like the Energizer Bunny here tonight.
Dan, we call this a straight line drive. Look, folks, there is not a single Aggie body there. He didn't have to turn or dribble to his left, his right. He went down Main Street, San Diego. And Utah State defensively, they are lost right now. They can't find Reese Dixon-Waters, and Pharaoh Compton's been eating them alive in the paint.
Sophomore forward from Las Vegas, the first top 100 signee since 2005. He was a top-rated recruit in Nevada. And that one knocked out of bounds by Elamine.
It looked like Elamine spiked that ball out of bounds.
Sure did. I'd be surprised if they don't take a look at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the San Diego State assistant coaching staff, and they're discussing it right now. So this is tricky, though, because Elamine, it looks like he tips it, but Dixon-Waters' hand is on the inside, though. And so I think it's smart not to challenge this and risk losing a timeout if you're the Aztecs.
Especially with a 10-point lead at this juncture with 90 seconds to go here in the first half.
And this is the leading scorer. MJ Collins, number 2. He's been pretty quiet.
Elijah Perriman, the tough turnaround goes.
That's really good defense.
They're calling the foul on Carson Templin. He's not happy with it, but there was a lot of contact down low.
And they're showing the replay on the big Jumbotron here at Viejas Arena, and all the fans are upset at Carson Templin. He's a rugged player. He's a good player. But here, just 2 hands. Not a ton there. It's not a ton.
I think he might have tripped over his own feet, to be honest with you.
But his arms did extend, and that was kind of an easy call. But like there wasn't anything malicious about that. And Compton sold it well, Dan, because you and I both know that it would take a lot bigger push than what Carson Templin gave him to make Pharaoh Compton hit the deck. I know that to be true.
You know, I know they have the herd in Logan, Utah State student section, but this student section here at Viejas, pretty darn loud.
The show, it's big time. They call it the show, and they're here early. They got signs. They got a bunch of chains. Is it like chain night?
Yeah, you didn't get one?
Yeah, I would love one. I got no dog in this fight, but yeah, I'll take free jewelry if you're handing them out. We're right here again. Yeah, that's just Pharaoh Compton was trying to stop at the foul line to post up, and I think Templin just got tripped up a little bit. So I got my chain right now. I just was delivered. Yeah, see, like I thought my suit was pretty good, and it just got a big upgrade. Like there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Like
you know what's happening right now, Casey?
What?
Everybody in Logan is saying, "Get those chains off."
I get it, but if there are any Utah State fans here that want to give me a Aggie chain, I will gladly put that one on as well, and I'll be like Mr. T. The Mountain West Mr. T. I pity the fool.
Well played. Well played. Under a minute to go, 11-point lead. King. Oh, nice attempt on the tip-in by MJ Collins.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that MJ's, he's got to be just killing himself. You want those on the road.
Oh, Harrington was looking for the alley-oop to Pharaoh Compton.
Yeah, and Pharaoh's like, man, I got a mask. I can barely see. When the ball goes over my forehead, I lose it. And Pharaoh's got a lot of stuff going on because he's got a full head of hair. He's got the headband and the mask.
That's true. It looks like he's wearing thigh pads too. Here's the freshman Perriman. The shot's just not falling for Utah State.
Oh, nice pass.
Bird. Oh. Finally, a foul called on Compton for San Diego State.
Man, those 3 bunnies that they missed right there.
Right on top of it.
How about that pass from Compton? That's your center. A little bit too much mustard on this hot dog from Miles Bird, but yeah, look, that one just rolls around. And then this one here from Guath. My goodness. And then that's the right call. Yeah, so MJ Collins, the previous possession for the Aggies, missed a bunny right at the rim, and then San Diego State returns the favor with 3 missed 0-footers.
You know, we've talked about the defense in this game. What we haven't talked about is the offensive efficiency of Utah State as we're trying to figure out exactly who the foul was on here. And oh, Pharaoh Compton, of course. But the Aggies, the most efficient team in the conference, shooting 50% and shooting just 38% in the first half here tonight.
I mean, it's the power of this defensive unit for the Aztecs when they're locked in, and it's also aided by this building. They're just, and that's normal, right? That's the same thing with Utah State when they play at the Spectrum. It helps the most on the defensive end.
Clock winding down. Here's whoa! Banking in the 3! How about this?
All right, that's 25% skill and 75% luck. Guath is a good 3-point shooter, by the way, folks. But I'm saying he knows it. He's laughing it off. Big time momentum for the Aztecs going in. That was really one of their better offensive performances in a half in a couple of weeks.
Everything that could go right did go right for the Aztecs for Utah State. This 13-point deficit, their largest first-half deficit in conference play this season. Coming up after this short break, we're going to send it back to our studios with Rob Stone and Miles Simon. Welcome back to San Diego. 46-33, a 13-point halftime lead for the Aztecs as we take a look at the first half stats. The Aztecs, a great shooting first half. Not a three-point shooting team for the most part. Pretty well from three-point land. Bench points as expected. They have 11 guys in the rotation. The number that really stands out here, Casey Jacobson, 20 points in the paint. Brian Dutcher told us we have to take advantage of the half-court situations. They're going to push the pace. They're going to run. We're going to try to slow it down, grind it out, and that's exactly what they've done. Yeah, the Aztecs want this to be a slower half-court pace. They trust that they're going to be the more physical team down there. And remember, folks, in the first matchup in Logan, Utah, the paint was owned by the Aggies. Tonight, it's been all Aztecs. You mentioned, Dan, 20-10. San Diego State also got to the foul line a bunch of times, made 9 free throws. Pharaoh Compton just lived in that lane. And can Utah State get their monster scoring backcourt duo unlocked? Mason Falslev, only 4 points. MJ Collins, the leading scorer, only 5 points in that first half. Collins inside to Keller, who's fouled on the way up by Guath.
It seems impossible that the Aggies can escape with a win unless those two monster scorers show up. It's been their identity offensively. Utah State's the only team in the Mountain West that has 2 players averaging at least 15 points a game.
Turnover by Keller. Here comes Harrington, tapped away by Allen. Just an example of those quick hands there. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, can you, like, it wasn't Drake Allen's turnover, but that's the hustle play that shows up. Doesn't show up in the box score, but that'll be like a film session one.
From the corner, Miles Bird, quiet in the first half, quiet no more. This is the largest deficit in conference play this season for the Aggies.
Yeah, Miles Bird's his first points of this game. He's their second leading scorer.
And another turnover. Here's Bird. A 3, a steal, and then a layup. 5 points just like that. It's 51-33.
Dan, Miles Bird's arms are so long. You cannot just throw lazy passes. You can't do it. Look at him.
And then forcing another turnover is Miles Bird.
Watch baseline out of bounds. He comes from one side of the floor all the way to the other. Gets his feet organized. And then here, kind of faked out MJ Collins. Thought he was going to go to the strong side. And the show, they're flapping their wings. And Miles Bird is one of the more entertaining players in the Mountain West. A redshirt junior, and to me, he's the best, like, active, anticipatory perimeter defender in the conference.
Going into last season, he was the preseason Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Almost turns it over there. This one off the mark for Bird.
Now, offensively, Bird hasn't been able to kind of kick it into that next gear.
Bird had the rebound. Miles Heide goes for it, knocks it out of bounds.
All right, so Miles Bird is only 6'4", but he's got a really long wingspan, and I call him the California Condor. The California Condor, the wingspan is in between 9 and 10 feet long. It is the longest wingspan of any bird native to the United States of America. And of course, when you got a last name like Bird, your arms are long.
Put back by Elamine. Gets Utah State on the board for first time in this half. Elamine has 10.
Oh, that ball was halfway down.
I thought it was down.
I'm really not sure how that ball popped out of there.
That's 2 fouls on Falslev, who's going to take a seat.
Watch this one, like, oh man, I hate it though. As a player, I hate it. I'd rather airball a shot than have it go in and out like that.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's the truth.
Nobody chants in and out. They chant airball.
Yeah, it's the stupid truth. I don't know what to tell you. Watch it. I mean,
it's in.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow, that touched about 75% of that rim without going in.
Dixon Waters hits the free throw. Now 16 points in the game for Dixon Waters. You know, you're talking about Miles Bird after that quick start here in the second half. He actually dipped his toe in the NBA draft waters.
Yep.
And didn't end up doing it, obviously. But in terms of pro potential, Magoon Guaf and Miles Bird, probably most pro potential on the San Diego State team.
No doubt. I try to talk to as many NBA scouts throughout the course of the year, and they definitely, when we talk about Mountain West talent, they mention Miles Bird, they mention Magoon Guaf. And Miles Bird, the next step for him, again, folks, he's a junior, so he can go to the draft if he wants to, or he can come back for another season at San Diego State, I assume. But the three-point shooting, he's a career 31% three-point shooter. That is what NBA scouts know he can defend. They know that. They need him to be a consistent perimeter jump shooter.
Double team on Dixon Waters forces the turnover, and then out of bounds. MJ Collins couldn't hold on to it.
I'm not sure what Reese Dixon Waters was thinking, playing with the basketball, trying to go between his legs with 2 defenders on him. And MJ Collins, it's one of those where, like, the wide receiver is already thinking about a touchdown before the ball hits his hands.
You got to look the ball in first. I think he saw Templin and he wanted to take him to the rack, and then he didn't see that help defense come over.
Tay Simmons now in the game.
Shot clock winding down inside. They're not going to get it off.
A good idea by LZ Harrington, but you have to have that internal clock as well. There's a shot clock above the basket, but you're not just going to be staring at that clock. You're going to have it in your mind as well. You can't make a pass with only 2 seconds to go there.
Elijah Perriman trying to force it into Elamine. Knocked out of bounds, going to stay here.
Look, you have to have player movement, ball movement, get some screens. If you're going to try and play one-on-one against this Aztec defense at home, that is not going to be the recipe for the Aggies win here. Again, they are top 20 in the nation in assists. You wouldn't know it by watching stretches of this basketball game.
They just haven't been able to get anything going offensively. Everything's a struggle. And they finally get one to fall after it's tipped in.
Nice trap here in the corner.
Good press break by San Diego State. Bird draws the foul.
They call that a shooting foul or not? Miles Bird is begging for a shooting foul. I don't know if Amy Bonner granted that or not. Yeah, it will be a shooting foul. Look, this is a little bit of a force, no doubt. Miles Bird does not have a lane, but he's just trying to manufacture something, and he drew it.
And he did.
Well, I know we have a lot of basketball left to be played, like over 16 minutes, but this is danger zone here for Utah State. They got to get something. They got to get a couple of stops and get some sort of run here going. They've only scored one fast break point. So we got one free throw on a break. Besides that, like, they just have been playing in the half court.
This was an 8-point game with 90 seconds to go in the first half, and you said it, plenty of time for Utah State to get back into it, but San Diego State came into this game with urgency. They need a quad one win. They need this win on their home court after losing 2 in a row for the first time in conference play in 2 years.
Right. San Diego State right now is having a average season for their standards. Can they rescue it with a strong finish?
Flying in there is Miles Bird. He thought he had all ball, and he's called for the foul.
The California Condor coming in hot. And this one looked clean to me too, partner. Let's take one more look. Here comes the Condor. Oh boy. Oh, that's all orange there. Wow.
Back in San Diego, all Aztecs thus far. Utah State trying to get something going, anything going, and part of the problem is their 2 leading scorers just haven't been able to make baskets consistently thus far.
Yeah, let's credit San Diego State for their game plan, because remember, the first matchup, which Utah State won at home, Falslev and Collins combined to shoot just 6 for 21 in that game. Now, other guys stepped up, but it's kind of the same story here in San Diego tonight. Those two have combined for just 4 of 12 shooting, but they're not getting the support from the other Aggies. Like Drake Allen has been limited. Carson Templin continues to struggle at the foul line.
Yeah, I mentioned Drake Allen. He's coming off a great game, 17 points against Nevada, a game in which he had 5 three-pointers. He has yet to score a point tonight.
Yeah, only 1 assist. Utah State has just 5 assists. Now, to get an assist, you got to make baskets, certainly, right? That's obvious, but 5 assists. I mean, at this juncture, I don't know if I've seen them struggle moving the ball like they have tonight.
Bird. And then the throwdown. There comes Compton out of nowhere. That's what he does. He is elite around the rim. $18-point lead for the Aztecs. Wow, they call the foul on Elamine.
Yeah, legal screen. Pharaoh Compton. He only averages 3 rebounds a game, which seems like an impossibility given his frame and the way he plays. No block out. Look, that was number 1 in the Utah State uniform. Elijah Perryman just standing and watching. No body contact at all. This game is getting away from the Aggies.
Couldn't get a handle on the ball. Could Elsie Harrington.
That was a freshman to freshman mistake. You're looking at the future of San Diego State basketball. Tay Simmons, number 8, and Elsie Harrington, number 3. Those guys are 2 of the more athletic players on the floor. I love the way that Brian Dutcher builds his team. They retain talent, they develop it. They get a transfer every now and then as Utah State misses another shot at the basket. There you go.
Potential 3-point play for Tucker Anderson, who has checked in. We've been talking about these two teams and how often they've been to the NCAA tournament and how they were predicted to get back there once again. Here's the tournament resume for San Diego State, and they are, according to our Mike DeCourcy, the next 4 out. This game, a win here, a quad 1 win, would certainly dress that resume up quite a bit.
Yep, that net score, you don't want to be in the 40s. 40s is danger zone. You might get in, but you might not. And then that top right, the only real notable win of the season is against New Mexico. This would be their best win if they could finish it off.
Utah State 24 in the net. They have been ranked as high as 23 in the AP poll.
And so a quad 1 game at home would be defined. The team would have to rank in the top 35 in the country, and the Aggies certainly do that. Nice.
And there's the freshman, Tay Simmons, a couple of pump fakes, and then the bucket. Carson Templin called for the travel, thought about the step-in 3, changed his mind, and called for the travel. Here's a look at the bubble teams for Mike DeCourcy. Last 4 in: Auburn, Santa Clara, VCU, New Mexico. First 4 out: SC, Ohio State, TCU, and Cal. And you can see San Diego State in the next 4 out.
Yeah, what's interesting is New Mexico, Mike DeCourcy puts those out every Tuesday and Friday. So he put that out before New Mexico lost last night. So this is a fluid situation.
Dixon Waters off the mark, but the Aztecs able to get it back.
And New Mexico lost at Nevada.
DeGorville bumped on the drive, settles for the jumper, and it hits. 20-point lead for San Diego State, their largest of the game, and this crowd is on its feet. And quieting the crowd with his first basket of the game is Drake Allen, the new father. Told the story earlier how his wife gave birth just a couple of days ago. Simmons inside, working on Allen. Draws the foul. Play into the crowd.
Yeah, he is a freshman with a lot of promise. And he's big, and there's going to be a lot of mismatches with him on the block. From the 3-point arc, he's still developing. Tay Simmons just 2 for 6 on the season from 3. Very good driver, and again, he just saw the post-up game.
9 points in the first meeting against Utah State for Tay Simmons.
He also had a really nice game. I remember at Grand Canyon, the game that San Diego State felt like they should have won if it weren't for a controversial call on a Miles Burt block. But Tay Simmons had 8 points and 9 rebounds off the bench at GCU.
Magoon Guaf checking back into the game for Farrell Compton.
Magoon's had limited minutes so far. You know, again, he's dealing with a hip flexor, dealing with knee injury, but he's been impressive.
Through the contact is Mason Falslev for the layup to cut the lead to 16. Full court pressure again coming from the Aggies. They're going to say it was off the foot.
And Falslev, good athlete, good strong athlete, but he also he knows how to manipulate defenses. Watch the ball fake here. Yep, I love that. And then the little off arm, he didn't push off, but he used that left arm as kind of a shield to give himself some space. Oh, that's an offensive foul.
Indeed it is. Tucker Anderson draws the offensive foul.
And watch here. Left shoulder right into the jaw. Boom. Man, well, replay that looked a lot more painful than in real time. Man, that was.
You can feel that over here, right?
You're a UFC announcer. Man, that would be a knockout right there.
Taj to Gorville with his third foul of the game. Allen driving, and they call a blocking foul on Tay Simmons.
Hey, a couple of possessions in a row now. Utah State getting something going, and Drake Allen, and the referees say it's clearly not a restricted lane violation, meaning his feet were not on that restricted lane. It's more of a he slid and was moving, wasn't set long enough. Tay's trying to get a clarification from the referees, and he's a gentleman about it, though, man. I really like the demeanor of Tay Simmons because he plays hard, but he's also like, you know, and he was playing to the crowd a little bit too, but he can easily like get right back into game mode and focus on what he's doing.
He's a smart player, especially for a young guy.
He's built like an old guy too, by the way.
Yeah, he has that tight end build.
McLaughlin working hard in there for a post catch.
Simmons thought about the three and then tries to throw it down.
My goodness. But I think if he tries to just lay this ball up, he doesn't get the call because he goes hard here. It almost forced the referee. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is a foul, by the way.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think. Did they call that foul on Drake Allen?
If that's Drake Allen, that's his fourth foul.
That's a tough one.
They're saying his arm may have come down, but
again, I'll go back to my original point, though. If Tay Simmons just tries to bank that in, like, you know, just a little runner, he probably doesn't get the call. The fact that he tried to hammer it made it seem more violent.
On the flip side, maybe it was a finger roll. Maybe he would have made it.
I like it. Okay, devil's advocate.
You know, that's what I do.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Back to a 16-point lead for San Diego State. Just over 12 minutes to go. Starting point guard Drake Allen on the bench with 4 fouls for the Aggies.
Ball screens with guards aren't going to work because San Diego State's just going to switch it up.
Collins has been ice cold for a good portion of this game.
And you hear the fans, they're not booing. Anytime Magoon Guaf does something positive, you hear the Magoon chants.
Utah State trying to chip away here in the second half. These two teams know each other very well, meeting in the Mountain West Conference Championship game 4 times since 2019.
Yeah, and some monster individuals too. The latest, the 2023 Mountain West Championship where San Diego State won it. Of course, it could happen again. These two teams are on a collision course to me, it seems. Although you got to give some love to New Mexico, Nevada, Grand Canyon. I think the top 5 that you're looking at, all 5 of those teams could certainly get hot in Las Vegas. But of course, that 2023 team, San Diego State, I'm talking about, that lost to Utah State, went on to make a Final Four, then played in the national title game, lost to UConn. That team, of course, had Nate Mensah, Matt Bradley, Keyshawn Johnson, and Lamont Butler hitting that big shot in the Final Four. That team was so fun. But I would say, let's go back to the 2020, where, of course, COVID, remember COVID, how crappy that was, Dan?
Yeah.
That was terrible. But 2020 tournament gets canceled, and I felt most badly, not for the #1 seed, Kansas Jayhawks, but for the Dayton Flyers, who are probably going to be a #1 seed, best team that they've ever had, led by Obi Toppin. And then the San Diego State Aztec team, which even losing to the Aggies probably would have got a #2 seed in that tournament, and could have done something special as well.
Yeah, they were great in the regular season that year.
Yeah, Malachi Flynn. Nate Mensah was also on that team. I feel like Nate Mensah played here for 10 years.
He was around for a long time. Folsom blocked by Guaf. DeGorville from just inside the line.
DeGorville's a mid-range monster tonight. It was Reese Dixon Waters that took care of the three-point shooting in the first half, but Taj DeGorville has been measured inside the three-point arc.
Step back three for Falslev. Timeout for Utah State. They cut the 20-point lead to 17. It is all about defense when you take on the Aztecs. Guath with the SWAT. The fastest racing on earth returns to Fox. Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden, and Pato O'Ward lead the way as the 2026 IndyCar season launches in St. Petersburg Sunday at noon Eastern, live on Fox. Magoon Guath missed 6 games with an injury. He came back and he was fantastic against Nevada. 13 points and 5 blocks in the win. It was his first game back. He did that in 14 minutes. And then in the last game against Colorado State, only played 4 or 5 minutes because he's been hurt. He's been battling injuries since late last season. And he has been injected back into the starting lineup as Bird flies through the air and draws the foul. And Guath is one of the 3 best players on his team, a 7-footer who can shoot the 3. He was the freshman of the year and the defensive player of the year last season. He makes this a different ball club when he's out there.
Yeah, Dan, he has what you can't teach: length, athleticism, and he's got great feel, too. You can't teach guys how to block shots. You either can do it or you can't. Certainly his wingspan helps him, but he's just got that innate feel. But you talk about the injuries, it's been a multitude. It's not just one thing. He's coming off an ACL surgery. Then he had hip flexor that caused him to miss 6 games. And then he's dealing with a little bit of knee tendonitis as well. I talked to Brian Dutcher this morning. And he said, if we're going to win the Mountain West Conference and play in the NCAA tournament and win some games there, we can't really do that without Magoon. To your point, Dan, he's a difference maker. He makes this defense go from good to great.
Yeah, he can clean up a lot of mistakes down low. Another turnover for the Aggies. Harrington. And the finish by Miles Heide. What tremendous passing from the Aztecs. The answer from Mason Falslev.
We still have 10 minutes of basketball. I was just watching UCLA get down at home in the first half to Illinois by 28 points, and they came storming back. Now, they had a lot more time, but still 10 minutes is it's a lifetime in a basketball game. This San Diego State team better understand that Mason Falslev, you better pay attention to him.
DeGorville hitting, my goodness, the Aztecs are on fire.
Go ahead, Taj. This is a tough one. Contested, obviously gets fouled. A big-time shot there from DeGorville. His 17th made 3 on the season. And then this one was a lot of fun. The show was loving this. Again, DeGorville, the pass. He's had probably the best game of his season so far, just impact-wise and what he's brought.
Yeah,
off the bench.
He's been all over the place. And keep in mind, this San Diego State team goes 11 deep. They got 11 players in the rotation. They're going to call an off-ball foul here.
But it's important, Dan, that San Diego State has a lot of guys. Why? Because of the high intensity that they play with on the defensive end. Brian Dutcher's like, I demand that you guys give me maximum effort. You can't rest on the defensive end. So I need to play 9, 10, or 11 guys if I have to keep fresh bodies.
Magoon Guath was grabbing his leg at the end of that last play, and he has taken a seat on the end of the bench. I couldn't tell if it was his calf or his knee.
Oh, there, yeah. Oh,
he was smiling when he came off the court.
And that's the knee he had wrapped during the shoot-around practice this morning.
Yep. And there he is, laying down on the table. Sure, they're going to take a look at it. But he was playing so well tonight, had a season-high 8 rebounds in the game as well. To go along with his 7 points. A 22-point lead, make that 24, courtesy of freshman LZ Harrington.
He didn't play. LZ did not play in the first matchup against Utah State. He was out with a leg injury. He needs important reps too. It's important for Magoon Guath to get these reps. LZ Harrington, who's been in and out of the lineup. I mean, everybody's trying. It's a war of attrition, right? Take another look at Magoon Guath. Again, folks, ACL injury. He's had knee tendonitis on both knees, hip flexor.
And they're all kind of tied together, right? You know, you get the knee, and then you hurt the other knee, and then
yeah, that's how it works, right?
Trying to compensate for it, then you end up hurting the hip. Now, we talked about that starting lineup with LZ Harrington and Magoon Guath in it. It was the first time they've had their regular group of starters all together since January 17th.
Yeah. They've had 7 different starting lineups, the Aztecs. That's not ideal. But the one that they started tonight was the one that Brian Dutcher, that's the one he wants. He wants to ride with that lineup. The lineup of LZ Harrington at the point guard spot, and Bird and Dixon Waters. And that lineup allows B.J. Davis, who's not on the floor right now, to come off the bench as a scorer. That's the rule. They want him to be like their 6-man microwave guy.
They're Vinnie Johnson. He did a nice job running the point guard, but he's really better at that off-guard spot, and that's where they like him. Allen tips it out of bounds. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock.
And Drake Allen playing with 4 fouls. Well, speaking of microwaves, my dad, that's my dad right there, Vaughn Jacobson. As Bird gets a shot block, that's a shot clock violation. My dad got buckets now. And folks, 20th still, right now, the 20th all-time leading scorer in San Diego State history. My dad, Vaughn Jacobson, only played 3 years. Because freshmen weren't allowed to play, by the way. It was way back.
And he wrapped it up over 50 years ago, and he's still in the top 20.
Still in the top 20, man.
That's impressive.
Hanging on. No three-point line. Much love and respect to you, Pops. Taught me everything I know about basketball. Him and, I have 2 older brothers that played, by the way. Oh, speaking of which, my older brother, Adam Jacobson, is an assistant coach at Utah Valley. Coached with Miles Bird's dad, Calvin Bird, for 5 years at UOP, University of Pacific. I saw Miles Bird when he was like tiny, like a little toddler.
Miles Bird right there.
We got to pay honor and respect to all those who came before us. My dad and Calvin Bird. Calvin Bird, by the way, was a total stud at Villanova in his day. Played professionally for many years in Europe, too. There's Magoon Guath is back in.
He is. How about that? That's good to see. As Compton and Bird take a seat. Maybe it was just a cramp, little calf cramp or something.
I've never talked about cramps more in my life than this season with Darren Peterson, the superstar freshman at Kansas. I mean, it's unbelievable. We talk about it every week with him.
It's a pretty wild situation.
Yeah. I love his game, though, so much. I'm rooting for the kid big time. He is a professional scorer. Like, if he's healthy, there's no way that Darren Peterson's not going to average over 20 points per game in his NBA career, maybe more.
Well, he looked pretty good the other night against Houston. Dixon Waters working on false leg. That's what you were talking about earlier. Those hands That Allen and Falslev, they are so quick.
So we have the top 3 steals you should say the top 3 thieves in the Mountain West Conference are on the floor. Drake Allen, Mason Falslev, and Miles Bird.
Oh my goodness, Elsie Harrington, get you some. Elamine trying to work on Guap. Simmons grabs the board.
Yeah, Magoon's not going to get credited with the block because he didn't get his fingertip on that basketball, but he forced Elamine into a fall-away 2-footer.
Yeah. Elsie Harrington, the freshman sensation from St. John Bosco, up and under. Oh, so pretty. .22 lead for San Diego State here at Viejas Arena. They are reviewing a play, I believe, to determine possession here. San Diego State's defense, it's what they've been known for, right? Forever. Going back to the Fisher era, holding Utah State to just 40% from the floor. They're forcing turnovers, they're blocking shots, they're doing everything.
It's their brand. When I close my eyes and think about San Diego State basketball, I think defense. I think this, getting out on the open floor, turning those turnovers that they forced. 11 turnovers, by the way, for Utah State. Many more deflections, 3 blocks. Miles Bird has a block. Miles Bird probably the best shot blocking perimeter guard in the country. But here's the issue, Dan. Here's why San Diego State is likely going to pull out this win. But the reason that they're in this situation right now, off the bubble and an 18-8 record, is because, yeah, their defense ranks 16th in the country in defensive efficiency, according to KenPom. Their offense ranks 107th. This is not a very balanced team. This Aztec group needs defense. They can't outscore you. They can't create points out of nothing like they have been able to in years past.
Collins fouled on the shot. The one thing you can say about San Diego State tonight is they have had balanced scoring. You look at the numbers, Dixon Waters, he hasn't made a field goal in the second half. Compton's chipped in. You have 6 guys there with 8 or more points.
Yeah, 9. They've played 10 players. 9 of them have scored a basket in this one, and 17 assists on 26 made field goals. That's normally what you say to describe Utah State's offense. It's been the other way around tonight.
Well, they've also been getting it done on the boards. 31 rebounds to 23. Little miscommunication there for San Diego State on the offensive end.
Yeah, I know it's easy to say this, but I really do believe that's a freshman mistake, not playing off of 2 feet. And because if your teammate moves and you're playing off of 2 feet, you just pass fake it and you hold it and wait for somebody else to come get it.
Davis hits the 3.
Well, that's MJ Collins.
MJ Collins,
yeah.
Check that. And MJ Collins starting to heat up for Utah State.
Yeah.
Ooh, dangerous play, looking for Tay Simmons on the alley-oop, but he got all tangled up with the defender.
Yeah, that was Gary Clark, who kind of backed in and took away the legs. So a couple of nice plays for Utah State, but is it too little too late? 6.5 minutes to go, and
down by 16, 6.5 is a lot of time as we take a look at the Aggies tournament resume. Well on their way to their 4th straight 25-win season, and generally 25 wins in a conference like the Mountain West going to get you into the tournament, but they could use another win or 2 just to solidify their spot. Right now, Mike DeCourcy has them in as a 7 seed.
that says to me that they're pretty safe. And when I say pretty safe, I'm not saying that Utah State can lose every game they play for the rest of the way and still get in. But I think you and I both know that that's probably not going to happen. Utah State can lose this game, and I know that they're trying to figure out how to get back in it. But if they lost this game, they are fine. They're okay.
Their final 5 games, including their last game against Nevada, against 2nd through 6th in the Mountain West standings, all quad 1 or quad 2 games. They came into this one 3-0 against the current top 50 in the net.
But the 2 difficult games they have against Grand Canyon and New Mexico, all due respect to UNLV, those are both at home.
At home, yeah.
At the Spectrum, which is really tough. I love Mountain West hoops. I didn't play in this conference. I played in the Pac-10 way back when, but the venues are better in the Mountain West than they ever were in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12.
They're phenomenal. The student sections, as we talked about early, as good as any in the country. Air ball for Carson Templin.
And the show has been waiting all night to get at him, too.
Well, according to Casey, it's better to shoot the air ball instead of just missing a close one.
I'm sticking by that statement, man.
Dixon Waters on the move and gets his first bucket of the half, and he's going to the line.
And Drake Allen just fouled out. And watch, he's moving. He's saying his hands are straight up, but he continues to move.
No,
his hands are definitely not straight up either. They definitely were not on that second attempt.
This is going to be a tough row to hoe with just over 6 minutes to go in the game without your starting point guard. We talked about what a wild week it has been for Drake Allen. His wife giving birth just a couple of days ago. Flying to meet the team here in San Diego yesterday. Waters now with his 4th 20-point game of the season.
And while it has been a night to forget for Drake Allen, he's going to take one look at his baby's eyes when he gets home, and everything's going to be all right.
That's true. Templin can't get the putback to go. Simmons throwing it down and dropping the hammer at Viejas. The top is about to come off this place.
Well, Tay Simmons has been a baller, and he's also been a great cheerleader. That's a man's jam right there. There are guys who drive the ball, and then there are guys who drive it with purpose to try and embarrass somebody. Yeah, the chains are a-bouncing in the student section after that one.
Well, they were chanting Carson Templin's name. He quieted them momentarily by making a free throw, and it's back to a 20-point game. Simmons, who was looking for him on the alley-oop. Waff will shoot 2.
And Tay Simmons again getting 2 feet in the lane, and yes, that's the right call. It's false lead. Almost like blocked out Magoon Guan as if it were a rebound, but that wasn't a rebound, that was a pass.
Waff, the Texas native, going to the line. Last year, it's just a walking double-double. They're trying to get him back to that point this year. 9 points and 9 rebounds. So he's just 1 point and 1 rebound away from his first double-double of the year. Wow,
they took out Carson Templin, and the show is asking for him to return to the game so they can yell at him some more. Templin takes him in stride, though, man.
In and out for Elamine. Guap loses the handle, hustling, but can't hold on to it. It'll stay here with the Aggies.
While you appreciate the hustle, do you think Brian Dutcher wants Magoon Guap like diving on the floor with those knees?
Fair point. Very fair point. He was just grabbing his hamstring.
Yeah. maybe let Tay Simmons do that kind of dirty work.
And out comes Simmons and McGuaf. Magoon, Guap, and Simmons take a seat. Fans are on their feet, appreciating the young fellas. Ball just kind of hung up there for a moment. And that is a familiar sound. The sound of shots clanging out for Utah State. They're shooting just 38.5%. Bird short on a 3.
San Diego State has been tested this season. Remember, in the non-conference, they lost to Michigan. Michigan, a top 3 team in the country. They lost to Michigan by 40. They played Arizona on a neutral floor, kind of neutral. It was in Phoenix where the Phoenix Suns play. And they lost that game by 23 points. So when they played against top 5 teams, they got smashed. But this team is trying to get right at the most important point of the year.
Lost left converts on the fast break, but very different schedules right early in the season for San Diego State as compared to Utah State.
Yeah, Utah State did not test themselves nearly as much in the non-conference. The Aggies only lost 1 time. But yeah, they didn't play any ranked teams.
Bird spinning and dropping it out for Heidi, who finishes.
Miles Bird was limping. He fell like kind of Pete Rose style on his chest the possession before. He looked to be healthy on that last dish.
I think he might just be a little gassed right now.
Yeah, it was not that, like, you could be hurting and then all of a sudden you get the ball in your hands and that pain just goes away magically.
Spoken like a true shooter. MJ Collins fouled. He'll be going to the line. Heidi fouling out his 5th of the game. It's all about the Aztecs here at home, folks. Welcome back to San Diego. Reese Dixon Waters with his 4th 20-point game of the season. Has 3 triples. But just doing a little bit of everything all over the place as he's been doing most of this season.
You know, I think one of the questions that I've had watching this San Diego State team, not just Reese Dixon Waters, but it was like, who is the star player? Who's the best player for the Aztecs? Tonight it's clear that it's Reese Dixon Waters, and I'd argue that for the last month, the last 8 games, he has stepped up his level. Last 8 games, 16 points on 50% shooting from the field. And it was the problem. We talked about their struggles in the non-conference, 4 losses in the non-con. No one really took the reins of the offense, in my eyes. And maybe, you know, right now, Reese is that guy. And as they get healthy, they're still going to lean on their old senior, old number 39.
Just balanced scoring across the board for San Diego State. You got Magoon Guap, who is back. He's close to a double-double. Compton and Simmons, both with 11 apiece.
And you might be asking, with 3 minutes to go in this game out of reach, why would Brian Dutcher still have these guys? He needs this group to get reps. Like, these are starters that are on the floor. He needs as many reps together with this group as he can.
There's Guap, who's fouled on the way up. As we take a look at what is on tap for the Aztecs. At New Mexico, tough place to play. Boise, not an easy place to play either. And then they wrap things up in terms of the regular season against UNLV.
And then I'd argue that the Aztecs have the tougher road home because of the 2 back-to-back road games. Whereas, Utah State's playing some really good quality teams, Utah State and Grand Canyon, but they're playing both those teams at home. Big difference. Which makes a huge difference. Home court advantage in college basketball is everything. Maybe more so than any other sport. Yeah, I'd love to see some numbers and stats on that. Is college basketball venues, how many points is Viejas Arena worth to this group this season? I'd argue it's probably 6. I was going to say 7 or 8 maybe. Yeah, I was going to say 6 to 8 points probably. There's Collins. You know, football they say it's worth 3, right? Home field advantage in an NFL game is 3 points. They were college basketball venues are so much more loud and intense. Oh, for sure. Right? Just ask Carson Templin. They've just been nagging him all game. You loved it when they did that to you, though. I did. One of the best things in the world is hitting a 3 in someone's face and the student section quieting down. There's honestly nothing better, man. Well, unfortunately for Utah State, they haven't been able to quiet the student section down very often tonight. Look at Bird just skying for that rebound. Yeah, so while Miles Bird continues to kind of struggle with his perimeter shot, he does everything else at a really high level, man. Rebound, defend, all that. There's Collins on the breakaway. So our producer, Max Limon, just told me that Ken Palm, I mean, I subscribe to Ken Palm. He's one of my gurus, man. Whatever he says goes. Ken Palm has a ranking of college basketball venues, the hardest ones to play. And the Spectrum in Logan, Utah is ranks 8th in the country. Top 10 home venue for the Aggies. That's awesome. You talk about the show here. They have the Herd there. That's a great student section. Yeah, the Havocs at Grand Canyon are also, they definitely deserve to be on that list. Grand Canyon been a nice addition to the Mountain West. The average margin of victory at home this year for San Diego State, 16 points. So maybe it's 10-point advantage. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're beating up on a couple of bad teams, too, in the non-con that inflate your numbers. But you mentioned something that got me thinking a little bit, Dan, which is this is the swan song for these 2 teams in the Mountain West. Both Utah State and San Diego State. Enjoy your Mountain West logos on your jerseys for just a few more weeks, because both these teams are moving to the new Pac-12. So it's Oregon State, Washington State, the Aztecs, the Aggies. Boise State's going, Fresno State's going, Texas State, and of course the Gonzaga Bulldogs. This is just a massive, massive win, especially in the way that they just dominated from start to finish for San Diego State. Coming off 2 losses in a row for the first time since 2023 in conference play. There was a lot of chatter around the program. Are we going to be able to hold on to these guys? Are guys going to enter the portal? They got healthy, they got Harrington back, they got Guap back, and they got contributions from just about everybody here at home tonight. This is one of those that Brian Dutcher wants to bottle up and bring with him everywhere he goes. Jason Waters now with 22. Tucker Anderson hitting the 3, not nearly as meaningful as his last trip here to Viejas, however. Well, partner, the Mountain West is up for grabs. A week and a half left to decide who's going to take home the regular season crown. These 2 teams split home victories, and we got ourselves a tie at the top.
That we do. Tied for first place in the Mountain West. San Diego State with a massive win, the largest margin of victory against Utah State since 2017. The Aztecs getting it done on their home court, snapping that 2-game skid. Up next at New Mexico at noon on the 28th. 89-72 is the final. Reese Dixon Waters leads the way with 22. What a night it was here in San Diego for Casey Jacobson, Max Linewan, and the rest of our Fox Sports crew. I'm Dan Helly. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.